We are live. Welcome to episode 35 of the High Slot Podcast, brought to you by our producer, Mass Music Radio. I'm here today, as always, with the boys, Bob Deuce.
How are we?
Snipsky.
Yes, sir.
And myself, Andrew Coco Curry. Boys, I wanted to be not the first person and probably not the last person to wish you guys a happy new year. How are you boys doing? How's your New Year's?
Yeah, happy New Year back to you. I didn't do much. I had the coach on New Year's Eve, and then watched those crazy semifinal college football games. Wild how Georgia won, but whatever. And I just had the coach the next morning, 8 a.m. in Marlboro. Absolute whoop of a drive. So I didn't have any beers that night. Just hung out and swung on the New Year. So how about you, Vinny?
More of the same. Didn't do much either. Had a good Christmas party kind of during that time, and maybe dabbled a little bit on Sunday, New Year's Day with the football going. But gambled a lot. Took TCU money line. That was good.
Love it.
Got absolutely boned on USC. Took the -1.5. I was like, that's easy. 14 points in the last 5 minutes, all done. Took Bama. Bama was a heavy favorite. That was good too. But yeah.
Surprisingly, I was in the same boat as you boys, dude. I had a pretty easy going New Year's Eve. I actually made it to midnight for probably the first time in the past 5 years.
I did not.
Because I was watching the Ohio State Georgia game, and then it was end of the game, and I look over, I'm like, oh shit, it's already midnight, and then Ohio State's lined up for a game-winning field goal. Guy just absolutely shanks it.
He did not ring in the New Year. He did not ring in the New Year the right way.
Wasn't even close. I had Ohio State money line too. I'm dead tired trying to make it to the end of the game. I immediately, right when he kicked that, just turned off the TV. I was like, yep, going to bed.
I had Georgia with the points, so I was already clocked out of that one.
Yeah.
Dude,
checked out of that one.
I saw a couple of memes about the Ohio State kicker. It's it's like Zaire Golf. It'd be like, oh yeah, when you hit the bomb drive of your life, and then you have the wedge in your hand the next shot, and you just shank it dead left or something.
Dude, that was a long field. That was a long field goal though, for him to hit. I mean, you're indoors, but the magnitude of that kick's
he shit his pants.
It's college kickers too. I mean, you can't expect much. You can't leave it up to a college kicker. That's the bottom line. Don't put the game on their foot, because chances are they ain't gonna make it.
The kid was nails all year too. They showed his percentage. He was good all year.
That's what happens. They show the percentage. It's just the jinx is locked in there.
Yeah, exactly.
You miss him.
Yeah, the announcers just always bowing him. This guy hasn't missed a kick his entire career. He's nails.
He's got a third leg.
No surprise.
Everyone's like, Jesus, relax, Collinsworth.
It's like something we don't know. Yeah. That's why they're saying. And Canada just tied it up. 2-2,
I saw that. Goddamn, 2-2 Canada. Well, we'll get into that talk in a little bit, but just before we move on, just to bring back New Year's Eve, I've been saying it for years. New Year's Eve is, I think, the most overrated, holiday, if you want to call it that, or just time of year to go out. I think it's miserable going out on New Year's Eve, just paying an arm and a leg for a drink, being an absolute sardine somewhere at the bar. Done. It's brutal. I enjoyed my New Year's indoors, staying sober and, catching up on some sleep, I guess. But, yeah, that's just me. That's just the old man in me talking. But I don't know. How do you boys feel?
Yeah, I have the same take. So it's like an extension of Valentine's Day. It's such a couple's holiday and stuff like that. If you don't have a significant other or anything, it's stupid. Because single guys, I've been part of it, obviously, but I'm guilty of it. When you go out and you're single, you just go around, you're just like, hey, so what are you doing for midnight? You know what I mean? You're being a fucking weirdo and shit like that. You know what I mean? Just doing that shit's so fucking weird now.
Bobby Diddle walking around. Hey, what's the move?
Dude, all right, so go to a bar on New Year's Eve, dude, and just people watch, dude. You'll see mad, single dudes cross-eyed drunk, being like, hey, so what are you doing later? What are you doing for midnight?
You want to go to the Ponce Bridge or just kill ourselves?
a couple's love. Good way to end it.
That's probably the only way I go out on New Year's if I'm dragged out by my significant other. But thankfully, she's very similar to me, and we both had zero intentions of going out, especially with the little one. So I already had my excuse. So someone hit me up, like, "What are you doing for New Year's?" I'm like, nothing, watching my kid. Like, don't even try and make plans with me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
No,
like,
dude, that's
I'm
perfect, Coco. You're the perfect scapegoat. It's unreal. You can just be like, no, sorry, I'm a friend tonight. You know, I mean, no one's gonna be like, oh, what the fuck, dude? You pussy.
God, sorry, couldn't find a babysitter.
Yeah.
Back to what Coco said though, like spending a ton of money too, just trying to get out. And like, say if you're going to Southie, which like probably a hot spot during the New Year's, it's like you gotta wait outside. Like there's like 17 bars and all of them have a line. And then you find that one place that's like a closet, and like it's not like very popular, but it's still full. You know, like it's impossible.
Yeah, you're an absolute sardine in there, friggin' dick to butt.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing, not to mention that's expensive. The Uber to like get in and out of there. Oh, dude, you can, dude. It's like probably like $80 so like to get in and like maybe both trips like rinse you like $200.
Yeah. It's kind of messed up how they just like get you like that. They're like, "Oh, you need a ride home? Yeah, $80."
Yeah,
like you're going 10 minutes up the street, like, but you have no choice. You're just like, all right, I guess I gotta just eat it.
What
like,
am I gonna get a
put
cab?
myself in the situation.
Yeah,
it's like 2023.
You're either walking to your destination or you're just getting a fat Dewey to start the new year. So like, pick your poison.
Yeah,
that's not a bad way to ring it in.
That's not how you want to. Yeah. We'll agree to disagree on that one, Snipsky. But all right, why don't we get into some hockey talk today? So we got a big episode. We're going to do a little hockey talk to start. Then we'll do our Mass High School Hockey Roundup. Then we'll reveal our winners for the 2022 High Slot Awards that the fans voted for last week. And finally, we'll finish with our weekly gambling corner. You boys ready to rock?
Yeah, let's go.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah, let's do it. All right, little hockey talk. We'll start some NHL recap from the past week. Obviously, we got to start with the Boston Bruins. So since our last podcast, the Bruins won 1-1. They lost to the Sabres 4-3 in overtime on New Year's Eve, but bounced back with a big 2-1 win in the Winter Classic at Fenway Park this past Monday. Boys, what are your thoughts on the Bruins and the Winter Classic itself?
It was a great setup. Everything like the opening ceremony of Bobby Orr, like Veritek, Chara, Busick, like
couple legends.
Yeah, bunch of legends. And just for the game, we started off very slow. Like we got dominated. I'd probably say the first half of that game we got dominated. And then two quick ones by DeBrusque, and you can tell that Coach Montgomery just like he switched up a bunch of lines. Like he just rotated guys through and everything to see what worked, and finally like he had got the right lines together like to get the win and everything. So that's what's cool about watching the Bruins and how like they just like go about their business, because like everyone on the lineup top to bottom can play with each other. Like first line, the fourth line, honestly, you can just rotate guys and just see which line's working and everything. That's what's cool about it. And Linus Allmark played unbelievable too. Made some big saves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's impressive to see Linus Allmark play, how comfortable he looks playing. It seems like he's adjusted well to playing on a very good team. Also, like he was on Buffalo for like 5 years, and looks like he's actually comfortable back there, not having to do too much, relying on his team to play in front of him, give him some goals. That Winter Classic, they looked flat coming out. Especially the first period, they were getting buzzed on by the Penguins. I actually I took the Penguins money line because I was just like, oh, this is
no.
Yeah. I took the cheese because I was like, you know what, like this is Sidney Crosby, big in these games, especially the first one they ever.
He played well too.
Yeah, and I mean, they just couldn't generate much when it came to Allmark controlling the game, it seemed like, and keeping the Bruins in it long enough. And they're the best third period team in the league. You got DeBrusque in there getting 2 dirty goals, and we were stout. Got better as the game going on.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I thought the Winter Classic, I thought it was a great game. I know it wasn't very high scoring, but, it was a back and forth affair all game. You guys mentioned it. The Penguins, they came out hot. They were kind of wheeling on us in the first couple periods there. But the boys ended up digging deep and were able to mount the third period comeback thanks to Jake DeBrusk. And I know I've said a lot of negative things about DeBrusk in the past, but I think I'm ready to eat my words because, he's turned into a pretty big contributor for this team. I mean, would you boys agree?
Yeah, he's had a lot of big goals this year for sure.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen this before. It was his first year that he played. He had 30 goals, or he had the same type of year. But it's just like I want to see it consistently. I love how he's playing. Wasn't a big fan of how he acted last year, asking for the trade and all that. But I mean, if he can stay consistent, and as you guys know, he went on the IR right recently with a broken fibula.
Yeah.
It was before he scored both those goals, I think, that he broke his femur. It was like a block shot or something, or it was before the second goal. Anyway, but I love DeBrusk. I was gonna say like that might be a strategic move for us, throwing him on the LTIR. Maybe trade for somebody who's expensive, maybe a defenseman. Colton Parayko.
Well, I mean, Canner's like fucking getting talked about coming here, but
we don't need any more forwards.
Which makes no sense. Like, I wouldn't even. I mean, yeah, if we get him, we get him. Like, cool. But I agree with Vinny. I don't think we even need like in my opinion, I don't think we really need to add much to the team at all. It would just be
buried.
Oh, they just scored
3-2 Canada. Yep. Fuck.
Was that Bedard that scored? That's sicko.
No. I don't know who that is. 19.
I don't know. They keep showing.
Oh no, it's Kirby Dach's brother, isn't it?
No, he's out.
Fantilli.
No, Fantilli. Yeah, no, Kirby Dach. Colton Dach is actually withdrew because he's injured. So they called the guy up. I forget who it is.
Yeah, but back to the Bruins. So what I was saying is that I don't think there's much that needs to be done with this team because we're just so just our forwards are just clicking, gelling perfectly. Aussie goaltending is great, but if anything, it would be like a defenseman. Because we need I guess we need one more stay at home true beast back there. You know what I mean?
Because if I want to see a forward come up, it's like Lizelle or something. You know what I mean? Throw a guy on the fourth line, and see what he can do. If you need a jolt, some scoring on the fourth line, see what the kid can do. I don't think you need to go and spend. Kane's probably making 7.5. And it's that's a lot of money for maybe a rental or whatever he's going to be. I'd rather spend that money on a defenseman because we need a guy that's a forward, maybe another forward type of guy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it sucks seeing DeBrusk go down with the injury, especially after that big game he just had and as well he's been playing this year. But it definitely makes it interesting for the Bruins. Like you said, putting them on the LTIR opens up some cap space for us. I mean, as tempting as it is to go out and look at a Patrick Kane, I don't know, Bo Horvat, just thinking of some names on the market. Like I said, the chemistry's been clicking with the boys all year. You kind of don't want to throw someone in there and then throw a wrench in everyone's plans here because they've been playing so well together. I saw the lines of practice today. Looks like they're going back with Bergie, Marchand, and Pasta on the first line, and then they're bumping up Zaka, I believe, to second line.
Center.
Wagner just got called up too.
Yeah, I like Wagner.
I don't know if he's going to crack the lineup, but
so what are they throwing? Zaka center, second line center.
No, it's gonna be Krejci still.
Krejci. Okay, so they're bumping up Zaka. Okay,
Coyle.
Oh, no, Halsey. Sorry, they
Halsey.
Bumped up Halsey. So it's Krejci, Zaka, and Halsey on the second line now.
Okay.
So I mean, it is what it is. I think that's still a pretty solid lineup. Top.
So it's still Freddie and Coyle. And who?
Freddie
Smith.
Got moved up. Yeah.
And Smitty.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting what they're doing.
Yeah, because the whole thing
Smitty.
about forwards, ever since I've been coaching, I know it's just 12-year-olds and everything, but when it comes to just forward core, you can't really just throw a new body in there, a new face. You know what I mean? Because forwards are so just it's all about chemistry and being you know what I mean? It's all about that kind of stuff. Defense, you can throw a new face in there and be okay with it. But forwards have a tougher time acclimating to teams, from what I've seen.
Yeah, it takes a while to get that chemistry and start playing well. Rarely ever do you just throw a new guy in and all of a sudden they start clicking like that. It takes time and practice and then in the games too. So I mean, yeah, we're in a great spot as it is. I mean, I'm sure DeBrusque is going to be out for extended period, but we get him back by playoff time. I think that's really all we need because, I mean, at this point, I think we've locked up a playoff spot. I don't think statistically, but I mean, we'd have to go on a terrible run here.
You'd lose like 20 in a row or something.
Yeah,
So-
no, yeah. It's what are we gonna do with like a guy like Grizzly going in the playoffs? He's not ready for it. That's it.
He hasn't recorded a point. He's like dash
and
eight.
and it's like he has no size. What is he doing producing like goals and assists wise? I get it. He probably has a good plus minus because like look at the team and look who he's playing with. Like that's a little probably fabricated. Like you just gotta. He's not tough enough for the playoffs if you're like trying to make a run. I think you have to go get another defenseman that's can produce and play both ways.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think with the cap space now opened up with DeBrusque on the long-term IR, you got to go and get a defenseman because exactly, I don't trust someone like Grizzly come playoff time. Like he's not built for that. I've never been big on him, and I hate to see like this team end on a run because of a guy like Matt Grizzly like not being able to hold zone on the back end come playoff time. So yeah, they got some options here. It'll be interesting to see what they do down the stretch. But going back to the Winter Classic game, when they were down going into the third period, did you guys hear? I guess Foligno asked Monty for the room.
Yeah.
And Monty just looked at Bergie, and Bergie was like, gave him a head nod. Was like, "Don't worry, coach, we'll be all right." So I guess Foligno got the boys going in the locker room.
Let's go.
I heard
because they came out buzzing in that third period. I don't know what he said, but
I heard something
going.
like he was like, "This is
USA just tied it. Let's go."
Yeah, I guess he said something like, "Oh, this might be this is a good first," or like this is everyone's first time, which it wasn't, but he's like pretty much like once in a lifetime opportunity, like type of thing. And obviously, like Bergeron's like, yeah, I like won like 2010, and then
I'm the reason why we won 2010.
Yeah, well, he made that nasty pass tap in to Marco Stern. Yeah. But yeah, he definitely rallied the boys from what I heard. And there was some guys, probably like Coyle, who grew up in Boston and Weymouth, and then he actually put up a post on Instagram. I saw him at like the 2010 game as a kid, and then he's like playing. I was just like,
he's wearing a USA hockey jacket too. He probably just came back from development camp and just like
so like that stuff like that. That's motivation too. Like I'm sure there's a lot of guys trying to like DeBrusque too.
Coyle almost scored in that game too. He like had a nasty like move out in front of that, and then like as he was falling, he did like a no look spinner and hit the post. It was like to take the lead, I think too.
Yeah, it's funny too because like Bergie doesn't strike me as like the rah guy in the locker room, but I could definitely see Foligno being that guy. Like I don't know what he said, but I would have loved to have been a fly in the wall in that room, listening to his pregame speech. Remind me like Tommy O'Brien before Mansfield.
He just comes in shirtless. Like 20 tattoos at the age of 17. He's like, what the fuck? Like
Foligno looks like he gets those crazy eyes too. Like just
like bugging out
the way he looks. He just looks like when he gets. He's just like,
yeah. I mean, he was a former captain on the Blue Jackets for a while, so he's got that leader, in him. But I'd love to see a guy like that stepping up.
I got one thing. What do you guys think about that puck pitch with Bobby?
I liked it. Yeah, I know. I was just about to talk about that. I was just gonna say like how the overall, I thought this Winter Classic was one of the better ones from recent memory, in my opinion. Might be biased because we're Bruins guys, but I just thought like the aesthetic of the game. Being at like a legendary venue like Fenway Park was pretty cool to see. I don't think they've held it anywhere like a place like Fenway. I thought the pregame ceremony with all those legends, Bob, you mentioned some of them, Wakefield, Vitek, Chara, Johnny Busick, and then Bobby Orr ripping the shot to Vitek. He kind of left it a little low and in the dirt though, but
yeah, dude. I mean, if I was Bobby Orr, I'd be like wicked nervous. Imagine if you just like airmailed and you just like hit VTech in the teeth.
That's what I said.
You know what I mean? Like you just hit him right in the teeth. Like it's like a missile. Like fuck that.
That's what I said. I was like, dude, that's got to be harder than it looks, because like you got to shoot a ball with the stick and within a certain amount of distance and not just mail it over his head like into the stands or something. But he came pretty close. I thought he did a good job.
It's Tech right in the beak. It's just leaking everywhere.
Just one hops, catch him in the nut. Like, oh, come on, dude. That's like a Little League coach like warming up the kid, no equipment. He's just skipping him in the dirt, and like the dad's getting pissed, yelling at his kid. It's like hit in the chest.
I know one person when he retires, he would be fine if his kid starts pitching. Would be Phil Kessel. He'd be all right.
Oh yeah, he doesn't even need a cup. But on the topic of baseball too, I thought the Bruins might have jinxed themselves when they came off the bus in those Red Sox jerseys.
Yeah,
I was like, oh man,
that was nasty though.
Yeah, I was like, they're wearing the jerseys of a dumpster fire team like the Sox right now. I'm like, that might be bad luck, but I guess it didn't affect them.
Yeah, the Penguins were wearing on the Pirates ones too.
Yeah.
Wait, am I tripping or did they take away the goal?
Yeah, they took away the goal.
Yeah, they took away the U.S. goal.
Did they?
Yeah.
They said goalie interference. Wow. It wasn't even really goalie interference. It was only because there's a U.S. guy in the crease.
Oh, yeah. It's an inside job. It's in Canada.
Yeah. Canada's like, no, that's wicked racist.
Refs.
Take it off.
U.S. is buzzing on them.
They're like, the U.S. doesn't speak French. All done.
Some hometown refereeing going on in the USA-Canada game.
As expected.
Before we actually move on to some World Junior talk, I do just want to state and declare this right now that Linus, what is it?
I guess it's Linus.
It's Linus. All right.
Linus the penis.
I feel like I get it every time, and then I forget it. So Linus Ullmark, I think, should be the consensus choice for the Vezina this year after his performance. And just look at his stats from this year, dude. 21-1, sub 2 goals allowed, and a .939 save percentage. I mean, there really shouldn't be a discussion about who's more deserving than the Vezina Trophy right now than Ullmark. He's been lights out. Like, I haven't seen a run from a goalie like this in quite some time.
Yeah, he hasn't really had a bad start. Like, every game is like he's just like the worst he's let up is like maybe like 3 or 4 in one night.
I'd love to go back and see like what's the most goals he's let up this year. 3?
Probably maybe 4.
I can't see him getting shot like it. I don't remember it. Unless it was at the beginning of the year. Because he's pitching either a shoddy 1 or 2 goals, it feels like. And his
like positioning is so just like it's so like good. Like every time you see his positioning in the crease, he's always just right on the puck. Like it's like, you know, when a goalie has a good positioning, when like there'll be a shot from the point or whatever, and there's like 5 guys in front of him, and then the puck just hits him. You know what I mean? Like there's times where like he just gets there and doesn't know where the puck's at, but it'd be in his pads or in his chest. That's just good positioning.
I mean, I feel like the Pens had a ton of opportunities early on, like point blank, and you're like, oh, that's a goal, but Ullmark's just right there, like right in front of it, just bothering it up, like smothering it, no holes in him, it seems like. He's been lights on. I really hope he keeps this up, especially come playoff time. We're going to need it.
Yeah, he seems like one of those like the type of seasons he's having. He seems like those type of goalies that it's like he has it this year. You know, I mean, this is his year. That's that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I hope so, man. Yeah.
Because it's like the same thing as Shesty last year. Shesterkin was like the same thing, but but Shesty would be out of position and be making like these crazy acrobatic saves. Linus is like I said, like positionally sound. Like he's just in the right spot every single time.
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. Very sound in it.
Yeah, I mean, we all know goalies are sick fucks, and like sometimes like this, like goalies just get in an absolute zone. Like we talk about Vasi counting cards out there. Like Mike's doing something in his head. I don't know what it is, but he's just been locked in, and it's really been hard to get one past him. And you know, you'll have to see that for the Bruins.
It was the first game of the year. He let up 5 goals.
Did he? Wow.
He sucked at the beginning.
It was Pittsburgh, the first game against Pittsburgh, right?
Wow. I knew it would have been early on because I was like
or actually that might have been that wasn't the first game. But their first game was against Washington. I think. Actually.
Yeah, it was against Washington.
Yeah. So
we won. We won 5-2.
Yeah, we won 5-2 the first. Yeah. So the first, it was Pittsburgh. He left 5 goals. We lost we won an OT.
We left 5 goals. We won an OT. That's a shootout, dude. That's nuts. That's so many goals.
All right, why don't we get a move on to our next topic here. Talk about some World Junior Hockey Championship, which is currently live right now. We got USA and Canada going on. It's currently the semifinals. We had Sweden and Czech earlier in the day. Czech won 2-1 in overtime. They're going to the gold medal game, and then we're currently waiting on the result of USA Canada. Canada's currently up 3-2 halfway through the second. We'll talk about the U.S. You know, they've really turned it around since their opening game where they kind of looked a little sluggish. But, I mean, I think the real story of this tournament has been it's been the Connor Bedard show all tournament. I mean, the other night, Connor Bedard broke the record for all-time goals and points at the tournament, passing Jordan Eberle for goals and Eric Lindros for points. He also tied a record earlier in the tournament, most points in a game. He had 7 against Germany. He also had 4 goals in a game against Austria. I mean, he's been just about as good as advertised. So, I mean, what's your thoughts on Bedard? I mean, I think there's really no reason to say that this kid isn't going to be the next McDavid, Crosby, or an Ovechkin caliber type player from what we've been seeing.
Yeah, like offensively, he's unbelievable. Like you just listed off all those crazy stats and like all those records he's been breaking this whole entire tournament and everything. But from what I saw, like the only negatives is like I don't really know if he's really like can play both sides of the puck like quite good. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like from what I've seen, like he's like always like up the rush, like getting breakaways and all that stuff. But like at the same time, like there's been a couple like against Czech, their only loss. Like there was a couple of times he turned over the puck in the defensive zone, led to like scoring chances or even a goal at some time. So like maybe that's the only negative in his game is maybe like he's not great in the defensive zone, but his offensive play is just like negates that. Like the shit he does is just like magical with the puck. Like his edges are so good, he's so fast, great hands, unbelievable shot, like great hockey IQ in the zone and everything. But yeah, that's what I got on Bedard. What do you got, Vinny?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Bedard just has to prove that he can defend at a high level. Actually, the one thing I think is he probably has to prove that he can be like keep up with the physicality of the NHL. Like long season, he's got the skill and everything, but say one of those big guys, like this isn't junior hockey. This is like, you know what I mean. You're playing with grown men that are everyone's good, so and know how to use your body. So you go in the corner with like a Derek Forber and you get crunched. Like how are you gonna respond? You're 5'10", 185. This guy's 6'4", 250. But I mean, he's fast enough to probably skate around those guys. But when you get in those corners, those vulnerable areas, you're just gonna have to prove how tough you are, you know. And like Bob said, the defensive zone's huge. Like they'll teach you that in the NHL. Like I think that's everybody's pretty much.
It's kind of hard to grasp though. There's been a lot of people that are like they're really good offensively, but they just can't like just figure out the D zone. And obviously D zone's very important. If you don't pick that up and you can't keep up the NHL's like the defensive zone just like schemes, you're not really gonna make it in there.
Yeah, I can definitely see the concerns about his defensive play. But, I mean, you kind of look at the style of hockey nowadays, and, like, there isn't as much of an emphasis on defense as there used to be. I mean, you look at a guy like Connor McDavid, like, I don't see him doing all that in the defensive zone. I mean, I'm sure he does his part, but he ain't like a Selke candidate, and he's one of the best players in the league. So I think that's just kind of Bedard's style. He's, like, all offense all the time. And like Snipsky said, like I think he'll learn the systems, learn the positions. I mean, but I can see how it can be a concern. But I just think his offensive presence and what this kid can do with the puck is just something really special that we haven't seen a kid of this talent in quite some time. I mean, he's going to have some big shoes to fill. He's got a lot of hype of him already. But, I mean, he's got 21 points in 5 games in this World Juniors tournament, playing against some of the best in the world at his age. And he's on the younger side. He's only 17. So yeah, I think the kid's going to be special, but you know it's definitely going to be a learning curve for him going to the NHL, playing against tougher guys, faster competition. But I think he's got what it takes, and Canada just scored again.
4-2.
The thing is, like what he's doing though is like something like my player would do in like NHL 22.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's just like you get bored though. You're like, all right, like either I got to up the difficulty, or I'm just like, all right, screw this. It gets boring. Like you have like 6 points a game, like whatever, and then you get drafted first overall by like the Kraken or like
yeah.
Or something. You go to like some dog shit team. You're like, like there's times where like I try to let up and try to do that with difficulty and try not to score as much so I can like go play for like a cool team. But
yeah, the positives on him. The thing that impressed me the most is just his like scoring ability, like his nose for the net. It's just I haven't seen anything like it. And for a kid his size too, he's 5'11", and the hard shot is the shot that he has.
Release is
unreal.
It's
just the way he scores. Like, yeah, he's a playmaker, but just every time he has the puck around the net, it just goes in, and it's nasty every time. Just all his goals. It's showtime, and it's just going to be interesting to see. I hope he doesn't get buried in Arizona where you barely watch him, or like a good place for him would be like Chicago. they keep Patrick Kane around, like little mentor for him. That'd be like plus Chicago's a big market. Like we would definitely see Bedard way more.
Hell yeah.
Like he'll be on TV like 8:00. Like it'd be a reasonable time. He'd come over to Boston and play here more.
Yeah, they put Chicago on those primetime games now, and they're like one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, they suck.
If Bedard's on the team, they're definitely going to be, in the primetime spotlight. But he's just dominated at every level he's played at. Juniors, World Juniors now, and then I just don't see how it would be any different at the NHL level. And to me, it seems like he's got the it factor too. That OT goal he scored the other night against Slovakia was
nasty.
Just dirty. He stepped up big time, and he's shown to be Mr. Clutch kind of early on in his career. And if he can lead Canada to a gold medal, I think that's going to say a lot too, because Canada in this World Juniors really struggles to get over the hump, no matter how talented they are. So if Bedard can kind of get them there, win them a gold medal, I think things are looking good for him.
We're going to look back and see like, Connor Bedard, he played on the second line of this Canada World Juniors team. In like 10 years, he's going to be like 500 goals.
It's
crazy, too. He's already broken the all-time points record in this tournament. He's 17. He still has another year of eligibility in this tournament if he wants it. Who knows if he's going to be playing it next year. He could be ripping it up in the NHL. But beside from Bedard, though, I think overall it's been a great tournament. There's been a lot of close games. There's a lot of competitive teams in the tournament, battling it out for the gold. There's only going to be 2 remaining after tonight. A lot of standout players in this tournament, including Logan Cooley for USA. He's been playing really well. The U.S. goalie there, Trey Augustine, has been really solid. Up until tonight, Canada's put 4 past him. He's playing against 9 first-round picks, so I guess cut him some
and Connor
slack.
Bedard.
In Bedard. And also Sweden's goalie, Carl Lindblom, really stood on his head this tournament as well. He really kept them in that game earlier against Czech. They were getting outshot like 30 to like 15, and it went to OT 1-1. So that kid sounds like he's going to be something special too. But yeah, it looks like we'll have gold medal game coming up soon. Czech versus, it's looking like Canada right now, unless USA can pull off a comeback here. Still a lot of hockey left late in the second, down 2. We'll see what they're made of in the third period. We'll keep you updated on the results from the World Juniors next podcast. All right, moving on to our last topic here before we get to our next segment. Since the new year's around 2023, each of us here wanted to highlight a team or a player that we think should be on your watch list here in 2023. Snipsky, I see you giving a little smirk, so why don't we start with you? Who do you got?
Vinny's bricked up over here. He's like,
just like any World Juniors?
You got a team. It could be anyone, NHL, wherever. You got a team, a player.
Oh, okay, yeah.
2023.
Like if you want to look at a player that's just. He's coming up. He's a great 2-way player. I love this player. He's a young player. I think he's a rookie or Matty Beniers. Huge fan of Matty Beniers and the Kraken. They're gonna make a run. Well, I don't know how far they're gonna get, but love watching him play. Michigan guy, local guy too from Hingham.
Yep.
Yeah, Matty Beniers. He's really good to watch. Like any young players that are listen to this or whatever, are someone that is a parent of it, like a younger kid, have them watch Matty Beniers play center. Like the way Matty Beniers, he does everything textbook. He's kind of like Bergeron in a sense when it comes to like doing the right thing in the D zone, getting the puck out and crashing the net, doing everything. Like he plays hockey the right way.
Yeah, I do see a little Bergier in him now that you say that. He is a great 2-way forward. He is a rookie too, Snipsky, by the way. He's leading the Calder standings right now for Rookie of the Year. He's not lighting it up points wise. He is actually leading all rookies in points. There really hasn't been a heavy rookie class this year points wise, but he's been a huge addition to the Kraken and definitely one of the main reasons why they're in the position they're at right now. Borderline playoff team. We'll see as the season progresses. But yeah, Beniers, he's definitely got to watch in 2023.
Yeah, he's another thing about him. He impacts the game without you noticing. You know what I mean? Like the Bergeron thing where Bergeron's out there. He's making these little plays, impacting the game. You're not noticing the same thing.
Yeah. Yep. No, I agree completely. Bob, you got someone or a team that we should be on the lookout for in 2023?
Yeah, it's a player. He plays for Czechia. Defenseman David Jiricek. He's an absolute beast. Defenseman for Czechia. He got drafted by the Blue Jackets probably like a year or two ago. He plays for the Cleveland Monsters in the AHL.
Cleveland Stammers.
The Cleveland Stammers. No, but so yeah, like this, he has like pretty much all the intangibles and all the tools to be like a really good defense in the NHL. Big bodies, like 6'4", 6'5", probably like 2 bills. Hard arm, right shot. And he just gets in the play too. He just like, he has great hockey IQ, like plays lockdown defense, but can also jump in the play offensively. And he's had some big goals for Czechia in the tournament. He's playing and then there's a reason why they're playing in the gold medal round. And he's one of them.
He's been a horse for Czech in this tournament. I love watching this guy play. He reminds me of like a Brent Seabrook, Duncan Keith type player. Like big body, can definitely play both ways. I love what I've seen from him, and I don't know why Columbus hasn't called him up already because their decor stinks.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely watching this.
A guy like him.
They're definitely watching this tournament. Like fuck, we need to bring this dude up. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it's called up.
They're not trying to ruin him.
Tournament, he should be flying to Columbus, playing in their next game.
Yeah,
they could definitely use him. So you guys mentioned a couple young studs to watch out for. Love it. I guys got a team and I guess a group of young talent that we should be on the lookout for in 2023. A team I've been big on all year in the betting market. They've been really doing me well. It's the Buffalo Sabres. We've talked about them before on this podcast, but this team's currently red hot right now, 7-2-1 in their last 10. Climbed all the way up to 4th in the Atlantic Division right now, currently a playoff contender. They're first in the NHL in goals per game, averaging 3.94 goals a game, almost four biscuits in the back of the basket a night. Tage Thompson, I think he's been an MVP candidate so far this season. He scored his 30th goal of the season already last night. That guy, I know we've talked about him countless times on this pod, but he just continues to, night after night, just do some things that you don't think he can do out there. And then the addition of some other guys, Peyton Krebs, Alex Tuck, Owen Power, Rasmus Dahlin. This Buffalo Sabres team has been one of the most entertaining teams to watch amongst the league, in my opinion. Yeah.
Like Tage Thompson last night, he just put on a clinic, dude. And same with Tuck too. Alex Tuck had a great game. Yeah. That pass that Tage Thompson gave to Tuck. Do you see like the very first goal of the game? Oh my god, dude, that was so nasty. He like just comes down and everyone thought he was gonna shoot just because it's Tage Thompson, and he just like does like a little like no look, how's your sister? Right to Tuck back door. That was so nasty. That was an incredible game.
Yeah, against Ovi too, like a little shootout. Tage versus Ovi, that was nice. I saw the game when it was an OT goal that Tage Thompson had for the Hattie. Yeah, that was nice. It was like a little, was it a little 1T like short side too? Unless he wheeled around the net. I forget. But
no, I think he like went around the net like looking for the puck and it like squared up.
And he like slapped it in.
Yeah, he like just like got it and just ripped it in.
I mean, if he can keep this up, I mean, I just haven't seen enough consistency from him yet. Like if he can keep it up and like be like an Ovi type for them, he could definitely lead the team.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I still think the Sabres need to add probably another shutdown D-man to that defensive core because it's a little weak. Yeah. Also, I think they need to make an upgrade in net before they become legit contenders. But, I mean, this team's definitely on the up and coming. If they make the playoffs this year, I think that's overachieving for them. But next year, I think you got to put them right in the mix. I mean, especially if they go out in the offseason and they grab another D guy or grab a goalie, because Craig Anderson's got to be on his way out. That guy's a fossil.
Oh, yeah. It's fossil.
He's been playing pretty decent, though, but he's old.
They might be waiting on Devin Levi still, though, right?
Yeah, Devin Levi's in the
because
system.
Didn't he stay? He stayed another year at Northeastern, so after this year, maybe they're just waiting on him to get, because like it seems like they're just waiting on somebody if they're just throwing in Fossil or like in that, you know what I mean? Like,
old man
because like if you really have no answer in your farm system, then I would go and make a move for somebody, like or like even sign someone over the post or the off season, like there was a Jack Campbell out there, or like whatever, you know, if you're really that desperate. Yeah, because you have a competing team, like they're competing.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
They just don't have like a real goaltender.
It's like Oilers 2.0. You just have all this talent and you just have an absolute fossil in the net.
Yeah, you score goals at will, and then you got friggin'
Mike Smith.
Yeah, you got Mike Smith, and you throw a chip out of the zone, and it goes 5-hole on him.
Yeah, it's like shooting on a Mike goalie. Just goes in.
Shooter tutor.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say that the Sabres have officially won the Jack Eichel trade.
Oh,
Would you
100%.
boys agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like they got Peyton Krebs. That kid's a stud, man. Like that kid's 19 years old, I think, still, and it's like,
Yeah, we called that last year too. We're like, I think the Sabres won the trade, and it was like wicked early
remember,
to call.
I was the one who called. I came out with
It was you, Vinny?
Yeah, no, it was me. If you want to go back, we got our old content back, so we got you can go back and find that take. That hot take I had.
We'll have to clip that. We got to clip that.
Proclamation of the Sabres.
Yeah, we did call it a little early, but I think it's official now. I mean, Tuck's been lighting it up. Guy like Krebs has been great. And then Eichel, he's a great player, but hasn't been able to stay healthy. So, in the long run, I think that trade goes to the Sabres. And look at where the Sabres are at right now.
Like Tuck and Thompson together, that's like a 1-2 punch. Like Tuck's a playmaker, and then you got 1T Savage just waiting, lurking.
Both big dudes too. And then you had a couple of skill guys like Jeff Skinner in there, Dylan Cousins. Yeah,
Dylan Cousins. He's had a hell of a year too.
Yeah, watch out for the Sabres, man. I'm telling you. Something special in Buffalo.
Just tough.
Something's brewing in Buffalo.
It's a tough Eastern Conference, man.
Brewing in Buffalo.
It's just tough Eastern Conference. You got Carolina and you got Boston. It's like double-headed monster. They're just gonna kill each other.
Yeah, I think next year though, Sabres are, in my opinion, locked for the playoffs next year. I think they're in the mix. Some of these teams getting older. They're still on the rise. They got some young guys.
I thought the Wings were gonna be like the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, me too.
The Wings didn't take off.
Been disappointing. All right, couple quick hitters here before we move on. Speaking of the Red Wings, Jacob Vrana has been put on and actually, as of today, cleared waivers. Surprising move to say the least. He's kind of been a key guy for them during the season. Erik Karlsson has extended his point streak to his San Jose Sharks record 13 straight games. The St. Louis Blues have put Ryan O'Reilly and Vladimir Tarasenko on the injured reserve, set to miss the next month or so with injuries. The Dallas Stars have signed Joe Pavelski to a one-year, $3.5 million extension. The Seattle Kraken will host the Vegas Golden Knights at the 2024 Winter Classic, announced earlier this week. And as of a couple hours ago, the Carolina Hurricanes have activated Max Pacioretty off the long-term IR. Should see him back soon.
Let's go, Patches.
The Carolina Hurricanes are adding in their fucking shit up.
Yeah, they're nasty right now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
They had an 11-game heater up until last night. They lost to the Rangers.
Right.
I watched that game start to finish because I actually bet on the Canes. Canes got hoed, dude. The Rags were getting handed these calls like absurd. They took one back from the Canes too. It was bad.
Yeah, it was home ice, right?
Yeah, it was home ice.
I watched.
It was bad officiating.
I watched the first half, and Carolina had the momentum. I went to hockey though, and I was kind of glad because I was like hoping Carolina. I looked at the score and I'm like, what? It like didn't make any sense to me how like it was 5-2.
Also, Kochekov kind of he actually hadn't played since like end of December, so it had been like a couple weeks since he'd been in net, but he looked bad last night. As good as he'd been,
he looked good from what I saw. He looked like pretty sound in net when I was.
The goals he let in though, he let in some softies that he just like didn't see.
What was it like the second? Oh, that was the one that deflected off the defenseman, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then Panarin's goal, start to third, he just like threw it on net from the top of the blue line, just on the ice, went in 5-hole.
Jesus.
Yeah, damn. Like, I mean, the Rangers are a test, I guess, for a goalie like that. He's a young goalie. It's probably big. I mean, the Rangers have to get up at home.
Yeah, it's
like
not
for that game.
It's not an easy like task going in there and playing an MSG. It's always rocking in there.
Yeah, and then the Rangers have been hot lately too, so that was a good matchup last night though. But I watched the game. I thought the officiating was bad, and I really haven't complained about the refs all this year. I think they've actually done a pretty decent job. But last night watching that game was rough. All right, let's move on to our next segment. We're going to do a little mass high school hockey roundup from the last week, starting with Division I. So in Division One, boys, we have a new number one ranking, and that title is the Cat Memorial. Currently 5-0 on the year. The Knights had an impressive week. They swept Connecticut powerhouse Notre Dame West Haven. Then they went on to beat Bishop Finn and Natick, outscoring their opponents by a 21-3 margin this past week. Number 2, St. John's Prep. They fell down a spot for the first time since late in the regular season last winter, since they originally got the number 1 spot after they lost to BC High in overtime at the Pete Frady's Classic. St. John's Prep did rebound with a shutout win over Central Catholic, and they get Andover this Wednesday before a showdown with CM this weekend. Moving up 6 spots in the ranking this week is BC High, now at number 3. After an impressive Pete Frady's Classic title, the Eagles beat number 5 Pope Francis in the title game in addition to their win over St. John's Prep. BC High is a big game this Wednesday with number 11 Belmont before a Catholic Conference matchup with Malden Catholic this Sunday. And lastly, number 4 Reading climbed up a few spots this week. They're currently 4-0. The Rockets went into the Ed Burns Arena and took down number 7 Arlington on Saturday. And they'll get Winchester this Wednesday and Woburn on Saturday for their schedule this week. What do you boys think about the action in D1? A lot of moving parts here.
Yeah, it's a lot of moving parts. I'm not even surprised about CM being number 1. They're always just like such a great program. Like ever since I can remember, they're just always like in the hunt for number 1, like top 3 number. You know what I mean? They're always in the Super 8. So not surprised to see them up top.
Catholic Memorial back.
Oh, I think they're all the way back.
Yeah, I remember back in high school, they were nasty, but I mean, they had their years, you know. I feel like that's how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're all the way back because I don't think we've seen a wagon like CM has had in quite some time. Like they're always in the mix, but I don't think they've been number 1 like this in a while. And I think we talked about it in the preseason preview for high school hockey when we were looking at the top 10. I don't think we saw BC High or CM in like the top 5. They were more like 10 or even out of the top 10. We were like, oh, that's kind of weird. What's up with that?
The disrespect.
So, yeah, they definitely got to put some respect on CM and BC High's name because I knew those were some top tier programs.
Dude, South Shore hockey, man. You can't knock out the South Shore, dude.
Yeah, the South Shore.
The South Shore's where the talent's at.
Yeah, they were lurking in the background. They're just waiting.
Plotting.
Yeah, just waiting in the shadows, like little chip on their shoulder. Like, okay, then, all right. And look at them now, number 1 and 3 in the state, in the best division there is for Mass High School hockey. So yeah, looking to see CM and BC High continue the hot streaks they've had. And hey, it would be something if these two teams met up in the state tournament or even in the state championship. That would be
they hate each other. That's a rivalry.
Oh yeah, you know that's going to be a big game. Whenever that one's scheduled, circle your calendars for that one because that's going to be
boots on ground.
We might have to be there for that one. But yeah, D1 was live this week. We'll move on to D2, where number 1 Tewksbury remains at the top of the latest Hockey Night in Boston, Massachusetts Boys Division II Top 10 after 2 big wins in the Gorham, Maine Holiday Classic. The Redmen are 5-0 on the year, have outscored their opponents 33-4. They're looking ahead to Lincoln Sudbury on Saturday. And then Tewksbury is also going to face New Jersey's Northern Highlands High School in a scrimmage at Fenway Park on Wednesday.
Oh, sure.
Oh, that's nasty.
We'll love to be a part of that squad, getting to skate on Fenway Park.
Yeah, that'd be nasty.
Number 2, Canton has held down the number 2 spot. They remain unbeaten this season. The Bulldogs beat Westwood 4-1 and Wakefield 5-3 this past week. Number 3, Silver Lake, still hanging on to their top 3 spot. They had a big week as well. And number 5, Duxbury, also stays in the spot at number 5. They had a solid week, winning 3 games, tying 1. The Dragons stunned Hingham 4-2 on Monday, taking the title in the ICO Cup over the holiday break. They have a big week coming up with games against Pembroke and Marshfield. What do you boys think about what's going on in D2 right now?
Seems pretty stagnant. Seems like there hasn't really been any movement.
Yeah.
Everyone's just kind of doing their own thing. Like everyone's like knows like where they're at and what they have to do to stay in the spots and everything. So like the Lake Show still showing out top 3.
Yep.
So all of our eyes are on the Lake Show.
What was that?
Yeah,
You said Hingham big win in the ICL.
No, I think I lost.
Hingham. Oh, Duxbury won.
Upset Hingham.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Dragons blowing
Yeah,
smoke.
Dragons getting hot at the right time. It looks like, yeah, they had a big win over Hingham. But yeah, looks like not much movement here. A lot of teams stayed where they were at. Wasn't many big matchups. It was just, the top teams taking care of business. The big dogs were eating this week, so not much movement. But expect to see some big matchups coming soon. Move on to D3, where Linfield remains in the top spot for D3 top 10. They had 2 close wins over Latin Academy, 3-2, and Gloucester 4-2. The Pioneers do have a stern test this Wednesday against Newburyport. Scituate has held firm at the number 3 spot. They had a 4-4 tie with Division II Duxbury and a 6-2 win over Longmeadow. So a pretty good week for Scituate. Pembroke, they were actually off this week, so they stay at number 4. They'll face Duxbury in a big matchup on Wednesday. In Hanover slipped a couple spots down to number 6. They're currently 2-3, under 500, but it's been mostly a product of a tough schedule that they faced. The Hawks continue that tough trend with Silver Lake on Wednesday and Scituate on Saturday. So, Hey, Hanover's in a tough spot right now, boys. What do we think about Hanover?
I don't know. Like this is pretty much like the next 2 games are pretty much gonna like define what kind of team you are. You get a shit or get off the pot. Like what are we doing? Like because you got the Lake Show and then you got Scituate, man. Like Scituate seems like they're having a good year, so shit or get off the pot.
I think you said Scituate won like 2 big games right earlier. Was that
they tied Duxbury, which that's a big tie for them, tying a top 5 Division II team, and they beat Longmeadow 6-2.
Yeah, when you're hot, you're hot.
Right. I mean, but hey, when's the last time we've seen Hanover under 500? I mean, they haven't been in a spot like this in years. So, Bob, I think you're right. It's kind of gut check time for Hanover here. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. It's not getting any easier for Hanover. That matchup on Wednesday against Silver Lake is a big one. And then they win or lose, they're going to have to bounce back and play Scituate on Saturday. So, yeah, we'll see what Hanover is made of after this week. All right, lastly, why don't we round things up with Division 4? A lot of the top teams in D4 are actually off this week due to scheduling purposes, but we'll highlight some teams that were in action. Norwell still holding down the number 1 spot in the D4 top 10 for the 4th week in a row. The Clippers started off the week with a 4-1 win over Longmeadow, but suffered their first loss of the season to Duxbury 4-2. Sandwich is keeping strong, number 2, after rolling with another win. This one, they beat Middleborough 8-1. And then I got to highlight a local Cape team for me down here. Dennis Yarmouth jumped up a spot this week after entering the top 10 last week. They remain unbeaten, 5-1 on the season. The Dolphins beat Bishop Stang 5-0 in their lone game last week and doubled up on Southeastern/Bristol Plymouth 4-2 this past Monday. Boys, what do we think about D4? Not much going on, but I'd like to hear your thoughts.
That's honestly the fact that they Norwell only lost 4-2 to Duxbury shows how good Norwell is. Yeah. As it's just D4 do they actually belong in that division? You know what I mean? Because they dominated. Because they're dominating D4 so much, and then they go play a top D2 team and only lose 4-2. Because technically,
that's 2 divisions ahead of them.
Exactly. If Norwell actually deserves to be in D4, they would have got the doors blown off of them by Duxbury.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that is a big testament of how good this Norwell team is. I know I think they changed up the divisions. It goes by school size now, population of your school. Norwell, definitely a smaller town, so I guess they fit the bill for Division 4. But I mean, they can hang with the best of them, it seems like, and we've been saying it all year. It's really Norwell's title to lose, it looks like. Number 1, 4 weeks in a row. We'll see if anyone in D4 can kind of give them a matchup. All right, let's move on. So last week, we each gave some nominees for several different categories for the 2022 High Slot Awards. We put those out on social media and left it up to you, the listeners, the fans, to vote on our winners. So why don't we get into and reveal our 2022 High Slot Award winners. Starting with Goal of the Year. So in an epic comeback, down early It ended up being Bob Deuce who takes the Goal of the Year award. He beat out David Pasternak. Bob,
It's
I'd
rigged.
like to hear a little speech from you after receiving your Goal of the Year award for 2022.
Yeah, it was cool being in having my name with two premier goal scorers, Nick Suzuki and David Pasternak. I actually nominated David Pasternak like for the goal, so it was kind of
Almost
like
got beat out by your own nomination.
yeah, exactly. So I was just like, all right, what I mean, like it was a nasty shootout goal. Like shout out to Nick Suzuki and Dave Pasternak. Like, I hope you guys have good luck on the rest of your season.
Yeah, they
Best of
only
luck.
did it on the NHL level, you know.
Yeah, I did it on the club hockey level, like the CHF level. So
I give Bob credit, though, because you look at the two other nominees, they were penalty shot and shootout goals. I mean, they only have to beat one guy, the goalie. Bob had to beat 5 other guys on the ice and go coast to coast. So I thought his was a little more impressive. But yeah, I remember texting you guys earlier. I'm like, oh, Pasta's running away with Goal of the Year. And I don't know what happened. Maybe Bob got on the horn and was like, hey.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't doubt it.
But all of a sudden, Bob came storming back. And
I won by a vote. or
No,
something.
Bob
it
made
came
a
down
bunch
the
of Bob made a bunch of burner Instagrams and just
Yeah.
went and followed the high line. Just went boop,
We have to
boop,
go
boop.
back and
Okay, let me get to
retally
the
those
story.
votes.
Boop, boop.
Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, though, appreciate you, Coco, for the nomination, and I appreciate everyone that voted for me. I did feel good being Pasta by a vote. Felt good.
I want to
absolutely.
thank all my burner accounts.
Yeah. Hey,
Dina Bean.
got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, hey, you were definitely worthy of the nomination. I'm glad to see you could pull it off.
Thank you.
All right, so why don't we get into our next award? We have the 2022 Save of the Year. This one really wasn't close. It was Mason McTavish.
Hell yeah.
Kind of ironic going up against 2 goaltenders. Mason McTavish, the forward, ended up winning this goal for Save of the Year for batting the puck out of midair in the gold medal game on the last World Juniors, saving it for Team Canada and eventually having them go on to win gold. I mean, I completely forgot that happened. And when you nominated that, I was like, oh my God, this was nasty. Like,
Yeah,
how
it
did
was
I not-
unbelievable.
How did I not remember this? And he got my vote for sure and a lot of others. So yeah, Mason McTavish kind of ran away with the Save of the Year.
Yeah, circumstance too. There's overtime.
Yeah,
Right, yeah,
everything
just-
about it was
yeah.
like so nasty. Just like overtime, gold medal game. Like puck was like pretty much almost across the goal line. Picks it out, and then like 2 minutes later, they score the OT winner to win it. Like
Who was it? It
nuts.
was against Finland, right?
Yeah.
Was it
Yeah,
Finland.
Yeah, there was a guy from Finland you can see in the background, like putting
Yeah,
his hands up in the air, like, thinking
yeah.
he's about to sell you, and then when he's like, "Oh shit!" Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
sees
he's
him knock it
backtracking.
out and scoop it off the line. But that was unbelievable. Yeah, Mason McTavish, very deserving for Save of the Year. Moving on, we'll get into the 2022 Hit of the Year. This one actually, I don't think this one was really close either. It was Alex Ovechkin who ran away with this one for his hit on Connor Timmins just a month or so ago, absolutely planting him into the Capitals bench. Don't see many hits like that anymore. So yeah, that was a great one.
That was a big boy hit.
Ovechkin, Hit of the Year.
Yeah, for Ovechkin to do something like that, he must have like said something, or Honey Nut Cheerios or something like KG.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't take runs like that often.
No.
Like especially at the bench. He's usually like Ovechkin, usually in the corner or behind the net with your back turned when he hits you. But for him to
Yeah.
take a run at you, it's like
Yeah, Connor Timmins probably like said something about Putin. He's like, Mother Russia, for Russia, and just like killed him.
he's like, I stand with Ukraine. He's just
Yeah,
like,
I mean-
What?
Ovechkin used to dish out big hits like that earlier on in his career, but I mean, this late in his career, he's usually not as physical. But yeah, that was like, you mess with the bull, you get the horns. He just came in like a bat out of hell, just sent Timmins into the bench. And actually, I stand corrected. This one was actually very close. It was Romanov who actually almost won as well. That actually came down to the wire.
Is that the one I nominated with like he hit Miles
Romanov,
Wood?
His hit on Miles Wood.
Yeah, the Miles Wood hit was like bad.
That was a big time.
was it
hit.
Alexander
Yeah.
Romanov?
Yeah, Romanoff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Romanov.
Yeah, he used to play
so-
for the Canadians.
he plays for the Islanders.
Yeah, he
now.
got traded.
Yeah, he fucking
So, yeah.
murdered Miles Wood. It was crazy.
Yeah, that award was actually a very close one, and it was Ovechkin who edged out Romanov for Hit of the Year. Moving on to 2022 Coach of the Year. This one was almost unanimous. given that he's a hometown guy. Coach of the year went to Jim Montgomery for, taking over the reins in Boston as their bench boss and just getting us off to this hot start. I think Jim Montgomery is definitely deserving for the 2022 Coach of the Year, and I hope he can keep it up in 2023.
Yeah, hopefully we didn't jinx his ass. Because, Coco, when you said you're like, oh, Jim Montgomery, I'm like, all right, that one's winning. Even when I had, because I nominated Lindy Ruff, and I was like, he's definitely a Coach of the Year candidate, but Jim Montgomery's definitely gonna win.
Yeah, I didn't know if you guys were gonna nominate him. I was thinking probably Bednar would be in there because Avs won the cup, but the Avs have also stunk this year. Granted, they've been hurt, but I don't know how good Bednar's been with dealing with these injuries. He was kind of gifted a very talented team in the Avs last year on their way to that cup run. But, I think Monty, he's been the best coach this year, hands down. Moving on to our last two awards, we have the 2022 Player of the Year. We almost had a three-way tie on this one. This was as close as you could get. It was between Connor Bedard, who's been absolutely lighting up the World Juniors, Alex Ovechkin, who's on the great chase, chasing down Wayne Gretzky for most goals of all time, and then Connor McDavid, just because he's Connor McDavid, and he's just doing unreal things night in, night out. But it was Alex Ovechkin picking up his second high slot award this year.
Clean it up.
Ovechkin won by a hair. He won by one vote. It was actually a tie on Instagram, and it came down to Twitter. And he won the Twitter poll. So Ovechkin, 2022 Player of the Year.
Yo, dude, honestly, now that you mention it, Connor McDavid, Connor Bedard, I might just name my son Connor.
I was thinking that. I actually said that to Bailey earlier today. I'm like, hey, if we have a boy, might have to name him Connor because I think that just automatically makes him nasty.
Yeah, at the edge, that just gives you the talent. You know what I mean? You just get blessed.
All right, our last award of the year. Probably the most prestigious award, the one everyone was gunning for. It's the 2022 High Slot Guest of the Year. We had three very worthy nominees, Mikey Adamson, first ever guest of the podcast. We had our former coach, Coach Gibbons, and then a local Quincy legend, Johnny McGinnis. But it was Coach Gibba who ran away with this one in the votings, believe it or not. Coach Gibba, shout out. He messaged us, said he was very honored to be nominated for the award. So he's going to be pumped when he hears this, that he took home the 2022 High Slot Guest of the Year. Shout out Coach Gibba.
Yeah, real classy guy. Yeah. Telling us he's honored and everything. He came on the podcast. He did his whole thing. Just reached it was a tug at Vinny's heartstrings. I know for sure having Gibba on though, because Gibba they had some dirty laundry they aired out, but it was a good episode, So there's a lot of former players that probably listened that oh yeah, because he talked about his earlier coaching and now how he is as a coach now and everything and how he figured it out. So that was a really good interview.
Yeah, hey, we might have to have him back on to give a award-winning speech.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we'll throw Gibba a bone.
Well, recurring guest action, Gibba. I mean, the people loved him, and very deserving for the 2022 High Slot Guest of the Year. Coach Gibba. Gonna be a lot of people out there hunting for that award next year. All right, moving on to one of our final segments. We're gonna get into the weekly gambling corner. To recap last week's records, Snipsky led the pack 2-3. Bob was 1-4, and myself 1-5.
Dude, we were dog shit.
Wow, I led the pack at 2-3.
Dude, we were dog shit last week.
It was bad.
That was
a
bad.
Tough week for the boys. To keep you guys updated on the standings here, I'm currently in first, still at 26, 27-1, hitting at 49%. Bob 21-28, 43%. Snipsky now only a game behind, 21-29, 42%. So things are heating up here.
Hungry dog eats.
Dude, I have last week I had 3 bad beats. The Rangers losing in that shootout was bullshit. They should have won that game 3 times. They had so many opportunities to win those games. And then, I think one over was close or whatever. There was so many bad beats, dude. It was so tough.
The worst. Wait, is it the Rangers one with the over?
Yeah.
Where we whiffed completely.
Yeah, dude.
That was bad.
Over.
Dude, I had
on here with a paper bag on my head.
Dude, I had Rangers money line for that. against the Lightning, and then like, dude, the Rangers were outplaying the Lightning the whole entire game. It's just Vasilevsky just being a fucking rat and just like fucking we're making insane saves. Like, dude, there were so many times where like a Ranger would be wide open back door, and he would either hit the post or he just get like his knob of his stick on it every single time. It was nuts. And just Sarkin did the same thing. Goes into OT, whatever, and then there was a power play for the Rangers. They just couldn't score, dude. It was nuts. They kept on missing the net. It wasn't even Vlasky making saves. It was just that they kept on missing the net. Like, yo, hit the net. And then next thing you know, shootout. It goes into like the 8th inning of it, and then whatever. Like there's so many times the Rangers could have won it like twice in the shootout too. It was the most frustrating thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this over is toast. I just hope Bob wins so we don't get reverse swept on this game.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, come on. But boys, it's official for the first time all year. We're all below 50%. So we got to pick up the slack.
Yeah, we got to pick it up.
Yeah, these are the dog days of the NHL. Hopefully, it will clear up eventually. We'll start hitting.
So honestly, I've been going with a lot of like the trends. Been really digging into the analytics these past few weeks, and I've been dog shit. So I'm going back to just raw dog, not doing any research, and just going with my gut. So I'm going to see if that works for me this week. So why don't we dive into it? Our first game is going to be on Thursday, January 5th. This game will be on ESPN. It's the Washington Capitals heading to Columbus to take on the Blue Jackets. Snipsky, why don't we start with you on this one? Caps, Jackets, what are you thinking here?
I'm not putting any money ever on the Blue Jackets. So I'll just take the Caps. I mean, the Caps are a minus 190, probably deserved because of who they're playing. And I mean, they are banged up on the back end, but Columbus can't score any goals. I don't care who they're playing; they stink. Or anything, take the.
They stink.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to throw a Hail Mary and throw like money on the money line or something, like God bless. But don't take reverse puck line. Watch, it will hit. Now that I say it.
Bob, what are you thinking here?
I'm just gonna go with a safe pick here because I just need a fucking win. I'm going with the Caps. It's Caps money line. If the Blue Jackets somehow beat them, dude, I'll be fucking rattled.
Caps are coming off a loss. So
USA back in at 4-3. Let's go.
Oh, wait, I turned it off. I took it off the laptop.
Boys are back in it. Oh, there's a loose scrum in front of the net. Who got that one? I don't know. But, back to the Caps, Jackets here. Caps do seem like a safe pick here. Personally, I can't take the Jackets.
They suck, dude.
They suck. I don't know. I don't know if the Caps are a trap, and I don't know about a consensus first pick of the night. I'm going to take the over here because the Jackets are trash on the back end, and they have a couple of the worst goaltenders in the league statistically. I mean, I think all their goaltenders are averaging over 3 goals allowed per game. So I think the Caps are going to be able to bury, a good amount. I'd say at least 4 or 5 here. And I'm hoping the Jackets can get 1 or 2 and get this one over. So I'm going to go Caps, Jackets over.
Yeah, I was thinking the over too.
Give me goals.
Yeah, but the thing is about the over for me, like when I was thinking about taking it, was that I don't think the Blue Jackets even put up that many goals.
No, they average like 2.5 goals a game.
Yeah, they don't score much.
The Jackets, they do struggle to score. I'm just hoping for a Caps pounding. They put up 5 or 6, and then the Jackets, I'm praying, can get me 1 or 2. So I'm going to go over on this one. All right, moving on to Friday, January 6th. You guys are going to love this one. Absolute barn burner between 2 heavyweight teams here. It's the Arizona Coyotes going to Chicago and taking on the Blackhawks. Yotes, Blackhawks. Bob, let's start with you on this one.
For this one, I'm gonna go with the over on this one. This one should probably go over because, if these goalies actually do play, bro, holy shit. So you got Ingram 2-7. This is the Coyotes goalie 2-7, 4-2 goals against, 877 save percentage, and then Peter Magic.
He's terrible.
2-10, 4.1 goals against, 878 save percentage. So hopefully those are actually projected goalies that do play, and I think that's a pretty good layup for like the over. It's probably gonna be 6.5 though. It's gonna be a lot of goals, but I think both teams can score. So
the battle for Connor Bedard.
Pretty much.
2 teams tanking for Bedard.
Who wants Bedard more?
I'll give you my pick on this one because I got a pretty Pretty good feeling about this one. I'm gonna actually go with the Blackhawks here at home. I know they've been terrible. Yotes have actually looked pretty decent. Yotes though on the road, I believe are 6-14 this year. They're not good away from home. Blackhawks just aren't good. Period.
Yeah,
They've lost
both of them
5 in a
are pretty
row.
bad.
But I mean, looking at the Blackhawks, like you don't give them any opportunity to win games. So I think you really gotta buckle down this one and say, hey boys, we got one that we could win tonight, so let's bring it. Especially at home. I'm gonna take a bid on the Blackhawks here in this one. Give me the Hawks.
You think the Hawks might be a home dog too? Because the Yotes are good, like good compared to them.
I'd say Blackhawks are home dog or close to like a pick 'em, like an even line.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna. You know what? Because this is such a toss up. I'm just gonna take the Yotes. Because if we all hammer the Blackhawks, it's gonna like oh wow, you know what I mean? It sounds like a mush pick. I don't know.
No,
Anybody could win this.
I mean, we've been mushes lately.
Yeah.
I think it's a coin flip too.
Yeah.
I just think Blackhawks got to gear up and win one at some point. Why not win one at home against a very beatable team?
Yeah, I feel you. I'm just gonna go the Yotes.
Yeah, it's not a bad pick. I think Yotes are the better team on paper. We'll see how it turns out. Moving on to Saturday here. We got a double dip on Saturday. Gonna start with a little matinee on NHL Network. It's the New York Rangers taking on the New Jersey Devils. I'll start here. Two teams right now kind of trending in opposite directions. Got the Rangers pretty hot. Just beat the Canes last night. Ended their 11-game win streak. Devils haven't looked good. 2-7-1 in their last 10, I believe, something like that. But I think it's a get-right spot for the Devils. Hungry dog runs faster. I'm going to go with the Devils, and I guarantee there'll be a dog, too, on Saturday. So give me the Devils at home. Home dog. I love it.
Yeah.
Snipsky, why don't we go over to you for your pick on this one? Rangers, Devils.
I'm with you. I'm gonna go with the Devils.
Let's go. Bob, up to you to make or break it here.
I'm going to go with the Rags.
Rags.
Rags. That's my team. That's my
Ragging
team.
off.
Yeah, it's going to be a big tilt. I feel like we've picked this game before at some point this season. But yeah, two teams that don't like each other very much. Couple divisional foes in the Metropolitan Division. Going to be fighting for the standings here on this one. I think this is actually going to be a great game. 1:00 on Saturday. We're going to double dip Saturday. On Saturday night, we have another game on NHL Network. It's the Detroit Red Wings taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Snipsky, why don't we start with you? Red Wings, Leafs. Who you got in this one?
My gut right now tells me is to take the Leafs. But also, it could be a trap game for them. I mean, the Leafs are coming off a shootout loss to St. Louis. The Wings just beat Ottawa. It's tough to go against a team like the Maple Leafs who are 13-2-4 at home. So I'm just going to ride Leafs.
Dude, USA got that goal called back.
Yeah, I
again.
just saw it. Yep.
We're on the power play right now.
Wait, is it still 4-2?
Yeah, the fix
4-2.
is in. It's in Canada. Canada's going to win the
fix
World
is in,
Juniors. Yeah.
Bob, who you got for Red Wings, Leafs?
I don't like how the Red Wings have been playing lately. That's my team. I love the Red Wings, but I don't really like how they're playing.
It says Husso's day to day.
Yeah, it was that's the other thing I don't
Is
like.
he? Oh, man.
I mean, the other guy, Hellberg, played pretty well. I bet against the Wings or something, but he ended up screwing me.
That's another over I'm going to take. I'll take that. I'll take that over. Wings, Leafs over. It's probably at 6.5 maybe.
I was kind of leaning over here too. I don't like this game whatsoever, honestly. I feel like every time I take Toronto, they let me down. Detroit hasn't been playing great. I'm going to take a flyer on the Red Wings here. I'm going to take them, though, plus 1.5 because I think they're going to be pretty hefty underdogs. I don't think they'll pull it on the money line, but I think they can keep it close and cover that puck line plus 1.5. So give me the Wings on the puck line in a close one. All right, last game of the week. This one's Sunday, January 8th. We got the Florida Panthers heading to the Lone Star State to take on the Dallas Stars. Panthers, Stars. Bob, why don't we start with you here? Who do you got?
I'm gonna go with the Stars. That's my team. I think RoboCop will have a big game. He'll step up. I just like the way they just structured to play that game because it'd probably be like a goaltender battle in my opinion, and they have the upper hand with Ottinger.
Yeah, this one's easy for me because I fade the Panthers every chance I get. I've been saying they're not a great team, and for some reason, some people are still big on them. And in the betting market too, they're usually like favorites, and I'm like, dude, this team sucks. Like, what? I don't know what they're seeing that I'm not. So I'm also gonna go Stars here. Snipsky, close out the week.
Yeah, Bob said he's gonna stay away from the over. I think I'm gonna take it.
I don't hate the over either. I almost
last game
went Stars and over, but that bit me in the ass last week. I went Sabres over, and neither hit. So it really stinks going over too. That hurts.
Yeah, last game it was 6-4 Stars. So
between these two teams,
yeah, 6-4 Stars last game they played.
Yeah, I like it. Over. All right, there's the picks for the week. The boys are expecting a big bounce back week. I mean, we can't have two stinkers in a row. I'm pretty confident this week. I like that I just cleared the head, didn't look at the stats, went with the gut. That's when I'm at my best. So I think the boys are in for one this week. I'd tail us, but that's just me.
Need it.
We do need it big time.
Yeah, we need it bad.
50%.
We need it bad.
All right, before we sign off, Bob, fun fact of the day. What do you got for us this week?
I'm gonna do a couple of trivia questions for you guys instead.
All right, I like
love
it.
Love me a little trivia.
NHL. It's gonna be NHL based.
Well, NHL. All right, let's do it.
Okay, so what player set an NHL record in 1976 with 10 points in one game? Is it A, Wayne Gretzky, B, Bobby Clark, C, Phil Esposito, or D, Daryl Sittler?
I said B, Bobby Clark.
Nope.
I feel like Gretzky's too obvious an answer, so I'm going to go Phil Esposito.
Both are wrong.
No.
Is it Daryl Sittler?
Yeah. It was Daryl Sittler, yeah.
Damn it.
Was he Toronto?
No, he was I think Toronto, yeah.
Yeah, he played in Toronto.
Yeah. So on February 7th, 1976, Daryl Sittler set an NHL record with 10 points in one game with 6 goals and 4 assists and a 11-4 win over the Boston Bruins at Maple Leaf Gardens. It was the last game Bruins goalie Dave Reese ever played in the NHL.
He just hung him up.
Yeah, he just got rinsed.
6 and 4.
You know, boys, I've had enough of this.
Getting 6 and 4, that's their season for some guys.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right.
Talk about point night.
Yeah, that it literally is point night. So, which NHL team once drafted a player that didn't exist? A, Buffalo Sabres, B, Pittsburgh Penguins, C, Atlanta Flames, or D, Philadelphia Flyers?
So, hold on. They drafted a player that didn't exist.
It didn't exist.
Do you have the name?
No, I don't have the name right here. No, I wish.
I feel like I've heard this before. Can you give us the options one more time?
A, Buffalo Sabres, B, Pittsburgh Penguins, C, Atlanta Flames, D, Philadelphia Flyers.
Really, Atlanta Flames?
Atlanta Flames.
I'm gonna. You know what? I'll go. I'm gonna go with Buffalo. Seems like a Buffalo move to do. Draft a player that doesn't even exist.
Wait, what do you think, Benny?
I was gonna say Philadelphia Flyers.
Coco got it right. Buffalo.
Sabres.
Let's go.
The biggest prank in
them or the Pens.
the biggest prank in NHL history occurred in 1974 when Buffalo Sabres GM Punch Imlach selected star center Taro Hisamoto of the Japan Ice Hockey League's Tokyo Katanas in the 11th round of the NHL draft. The NHL made the pick official, and it was reported by media outlets, including the Hockey News. But Taro Hisamoto didn't exist. In fact, his team didn't exist either.
How the hell did that happen?
That's hilarious.
You didn't send a scout out to friggin' check this guy out?
Yeah, that's so funny, dude. Honestly, I didn't even know
stats
that
on a paper and said, "Oh, this is what he did."
Dude, that's so funny.
But you probably paid him. He cashed the check. He's like, "Yeah, buddy, I'm just some guy living in my parents' basement."
Oh, it's like this guy who claims to be this guy's agent. He's just like, "Yeah, this guy's nasty." He doesn't exist.
All right,
Yeah,
so
I figured that's a Buffalo move.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so this will be on the final one. Last one of the night. The first NHL All-Star game was held as a benefit for what injured star? A. Ace Bailey, B. Silvio Mantha, C. Eddie Shore, or D. Howie Morenz?
I'm gonna go with Eddie Shore.
I'm gonna go Eddie Shore as well because that's the only name I know on the list.
Wrong.
Ugh.
It's
was it?
Ace Bailey.
Ace Bailey.
On February
Okay.
14th, 1934, the NHL held its first All-Star game as a benefit for injured star Ace Bailey. Toronto defeated a team of All-Stars from the league's other 7 teams, 7-3 at Maple Leafs Gardens. Dude, that shows how good the Leafs were back then. That's insane. They beat an All-Star team with seven different teams and won 7-3 still.
Yeah, but they like pulled
That's crazy.
They pulled that crap with like the Canadians and like, oh, we get like the best players from Canada. You guys like from the States don't get anybody.
The NHL was the
You
biggest
guys from
scam
the
of all
States
time.
can go screw.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like there's no well, there wasn't any American players until like the 60s. Like,
Yeah.
they were all Canadians.
Yeah, they imported them, exported them, or whatever. Each one.
Yeah, I think they had like a different league over here in the States, like for a short time.
Yeah, it's called Snafe League. It's every Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday night, Shea Rink.
Yo, I
Shea
carry.
Rink.
Speaking of
Pack
Snape
the
League, I made my my comeback after like 6 weeks. Dude, the team's decimated. I like black team.
No.
Yeah, I show
Yeah, all
up.
done.
And dude, I had 4 goals last night. I like had to carry the team. It was tough.
And still lost.
Yeah, well, I would have been nasty if I beat you guys. You guys are stacked.
Yeah, we were like Red came out hot 3-0. It was like I figured to score the first goal, and then me and Rick both scored like within 30 seconds between each other or whatever, and then it was 3-0 to start, and then we kind of got cocky and just like let them back in it.
Then it became the Snipsky show, and I had 4 in a row.
Because no one's
Going
back checking.
single-handedly.
Dude, that's the last time I'll ever do legs. Before
It's the legs.
No, dude, I couldn't skate. Dude, I was still diddling and burning you guys with like no legs last night. I don't want to hear it.
Not me.
Yo, I love to hear that Red's still running it up in the Snaith League, like how it should be.
Yeah, that's how it should be, baby.
Hell yeah. Keep it going, boys. All right. So as always, we'd like to thank our producer, Mass Music Radio. They continue to produce music for the masses. And if you haven't already, be sure to go check them out and their other featured podcasts over at www.massmusicradio.com. That's www.massmusicradio.com. Bob was actually on a featured podcast, MMR Talks, this past week, weren't you, Bob?
Yeah, no, it was great. It was other than talking hockey, just like we hard hitting questions, great conversation. They run a good show over there. Yeah, everyone should go check it out.
Check it out. Go check it out. High Slot's own Bob Deuce behind the mic with MMR Talks. I'm sure it's a great episode. I gotta go check it out myself.
Hey,
All right, I think that just about wraps
there's
us up.
there's another
Unless
thing.
Snitsky-
There's another thing
you
with
got for us?
Boston Fire is actually playing at Fenway Park against
tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I saw it on
tomorrow?
Instagram. No, it's January 12th. They're playing at
Oh,
Fenway.
shit.
Yeah,
So we
I
could
saw
say-
it earlier. I was
A
like,
week
I was
from
gonna
tomorrow.
mention something to you, but I kind of forgot. And I just thought of it.
I love
So
that. Hey.
I was like, it's free admission too.
Is it?
Yeah, they're playing
What's
Boston.
It? Is that a
It's pro-
Thursday? Is that
next
on a Thursday?
next Thursday, January 12th. Boston Fire versus Boston Police at Fenway, 2:30 puck drop, free admission. So if anybody out there wants to go see it, should be like,
yeah.
hey man, that's a rivalry. It's probably going to be a good game.
Yeah, it should be some good hockey.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that game's gonna be a bloodbath, dude. They're playing for bragging rights.
That must be it's so sick playing at Fenway.
I know. Should have joined the Fire.
Yeah, yeah. Yo, you guys hired?
Yeah. Just give me like one shift and then I'll just lace them up and quit.
Yeah. Like, I think this is for me, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. Back to teaching. Yeah. So, yeah, if you're in the Boston area next Thursday, January 12th, go check that out. A little Boston Fire versus BPD action. That should be a good tilt. All right, so I think that officially wraps it up for us today. We hope you enjoyed another episode of the High Slot Podcast. We thank you all for tuning in. Please go check us out over on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at High Slot Podcast for more daily hockey content. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone. See ya.
Later.